Character changes can be crucial in professional wrestling, giving talent the chance to completely reinvent themselves and become fresh stars. A good change can see someone catapult themselves into the main event scene out of nowhere. See Bradshaw into JBL for more details on this. On the reverse side of that coin, a bad character change can have the opposite reaction. It's something that WWE has done constantly. In recent times, I've seen the likes of Liv Morgan and Jey Uso become even more captivating. But some recent changes haven't worked, despite the best efforts of everybody involved. Whether that's because the new character wasn't good, or fans simply weren't buying it, these 7 superstars have proved that not every switch is going to be a hit. Welcome to Honor Wrestling Club. In today's video, we'll be counting down 7 recent WWE character transformations that made no sense. Welcome to the club. In at number 7, we have Elias becoming Ezekiel killed his WWE career. Elias was a talented WWE wrestler who got tons of heat whenever he was used, thanks to his sick musical skills. He might not have been the strongest in-ring talent in the company, but his segments would get tons of intentional heat whenever he was in the ring, and that's always a positive. The switch of him becoming Ezekiel, who was pretending to be a completely different person as Elias' brother, was interesting to start with. He committed to it massively, even shaving off his beard, but the gimmick was only ever going to run so far, as it had a clear shelf life, which hurt him overall, as he ended up falling down the card and being released. Despite Elias going all in on the character, it had no long-term potential, unfortunately. His legacy forever will be returning Kevin Owens to the prize fighter and the hilarious photo of Elias dressed up in the hospital as Ezekiel with all his relatives around him. Priceless. In number 6, we have MVP managing a Moss felt like a fairly random pairing. MVP has the gift of the gab, a skill that WWE has tapped into ever since he returned to the company at the 2020 Royal Rumble. His pairing with Bobby Lashley and eventually the entire Hurt Business made lots of sense, and it brought out the best of him as a performer while also enhancing those he was working with, elevating Bobby Lashley from man who shows butt to man who kills people and wins the world title. However, when for some reason the group broke up, the company changed his character slightly to be the Nigerian giant and Moss's manager. The relationship between the two was never honestly explained, and the partnership didn't work. The connection just wasn't there, and when Triple H took over the creative, the lack of spark was noticed as the two stopped being used on TV, aside from the occasional Battle Royal or Royal Rumble spot. In number 5, we have Giovani Vinci not wanting any revenge for being thrown out of Imperium. Giovani Vinci has gone through a few different gimmicks during his WWE career, and he's currently in the midst of a change right now. He was kicked out of Imperium aggressively as Ludwig Kaiser turned on him and completely destroyed Vinci, following yet another tag team loss. Most fans presumed he'd come back for revenge eventually, but that's never happened. He's now returned with a new gimmick, which could work with time if he stops getting routinely squashed, but not going back to at least try to get revenge on his former friends instantly makes him look weak and makes fans care slightly less. In at number 4, we have Screeps, which was a character nobody understood. When working on the main roster as Reggie, he was never a big part of plans, despite the entire build of the first ever one-on-one WrestleMania main event between 2 women being entirely about him. Him being alongside Carmella was a fun run, but he lacked long-term plans, which led to an NXT move. Unfortunately, that came with a dreadful character rebrand as he became Screep, as you'd expect from NXT 2.0. He was supposed to be a mysterious masked wrestler that people would care about, and the vignettes seemed to be following this idea. However, fans wanted more than just a new mask to invest in someone, especially when the mask is as bad as that of Screeps. In number 3, we have Edge leading the Judgment Day felt out of place. When wrestlers reach legendary status in WWE, their characters often don't need many tweaks. I mean, if it ain't broke. While The Rock's final boss gimmick has proved it can be effective, a lot of the time people just want to see what they know done, but in a new, compelling way. That's why people weren't really on board with Edge leading the Judgment Day. Seeing him lead a faction of younger talent was a good idea on paper, but the supernatural elements that were starting to show didn't really work, as fans don't want supernatural kookiness in their wrestling. The character felt off, and that's why WWE eventually shifted gears by booking the group to kick him out, which was the right call and has helped all involved grow and develop. In number 2, we have Alexa Bliss gains a demon doll. Sticking with supernatural garbage, we have Lily. Alexa Bliss has proven her ability to take on various characters throughout her time in WWE, adapting to many changes. She started out as a cheerleader, found her footing as a heel manager of Blake and Murphy, and then grew into a 5-time Women's World Champion. She began to show a darker edge to herself when being paired with The Fiend during the pandemic, and that was a character people loved to watch. Bliss had a few supernatural abilities, and her character work alongside Bray Wyatt was fantastic. WWE decided to split them, and then Wyatt ended up being released. It led to another change for Bliss, who was pushed even further down the darker route as she carried a possessed doll known as Lily, which would have the potential to influence what her opponents did in the ring and wink at her during matches. Many fans felt this character went too far, and it didn't click in the manner her previous gimmicks had, and was way too childish for many fans. And in at number 1, we're sticking with Team Criss Cross, as we now have Nikki Cross, as becoming a superhero was a brief blast. Nikki Cross has had a few different characters throughout her WWE tenure, and right now she's undergoing a fantastic new one by being a member of the Wyatt Six, which is working very well so far. However, one that didn't work was when she became Nikki ASH, which was a superhero character that came out of nowhere, being a drastic change from her unhinged psychopath in the Sanity faction, even if it had been toned down a bit from the NXT days. The gimmick was fun for younger audiences, but superhero characters often have a short shelf life in wrestling, with the exception of the Hurricane, and Cross found that out. She was pushed heavily, winning Money in the Bank and the Raw Women's title the very next night, and then she was forgotten about just as quickly, losing the title to Charlotte in her first title defence at SummerSlam, with WWE eventually reverting right back to what she was doing in the first place. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video on 7 recent WWE character transformations that made no sense, make sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell icon so you never miss an update from Honor Wrestling Club. We post new wrestling content, so stay tuned for more fascinating lists. Also, let us know in the comments which WWE character transformation you think made the least sense. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Until next time, thank you for watching and welcome to the club. Keep slamming and stay awesome. See ya!